Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Nikki Mar, and I'm back with another video. Finally, this is my first time recording since like March. It is fully about to be June. So you know, I have to give y'all full glam, the full fantasy, because we are officially back. Let me tell y'all, I was gone because I am in school, and I've been in school since last year. But this past semester, I took a class that literally took me through there. I don't know if y'all can see the discoloration on my chest. I swear it was worse than that, and I swear it was a stress response from this class that I was taking. I lost a little bit of hair. Like, I went through it. Hold on, I need some more contour. But I went through it with this class. Like, y'all do not understand. I still haven't checked my grade from the class because the thing was, at the end of the class, after all my hard work, I ended with an 89.06 or something like that. I wanted him to round me up to an A, and he pretty much gave me a response that was like, I probably won't. But so if I don't have an A, like, I'm not checking the grade. Like, that's how intense the class was for me. Y'all don't care about that, but just know that I am back. I am not taking summer classes. They offered me a scholarship to take summer classes, and I said, I'm good. No thanks. Like, I'm good. Like, I've been through enough with regular classes. I'm not taking summer classes. So I am back at least for the summer, hopefully past that. Hopefully I don't ever end up in a situation with a class that stressful again. I'm sorry for the wait, guys. And let me tell y'all have been loving the videos while I've been gone. That is the reason I was like, okay, I gotta get back in it, because the videos have been popping off, girl. I'm like, or popping off for me by my standards. I am back, and today I have none other than another celebrity review. Drum roll, please. I can't even get my drum roll right. I read No Holds Barred by Mandii B and WeezyWTF. I read this book back months ago. I read it back in February. I'll put my story graph on the screen. Y'all follow me on there. See what I'm reading. But I read this back in February, and I'm finally getting a chance to kind of tell you guys what I think about the book. So yeah, let's get into it. So first and foremost, who are Mandii B and WeezyWTF? Now, I did write this down, but I feel like I'm gonna have to pull out my iPad. I got one of those in the meantime. Who are Mandii B and WeezyWTF? According to The Black Effect, Mandii B is a podcaster and content creator focusing on women empowerment, sexual liberation, and body positivity. According to The Black Effect, WeezyWTF is a 29-year-old sexpert, comedy writer, and podcaster living in New York. I feel like that bio is old for her. I don't know if she's still 29. I don't know. That bio seems a little old for her. But that's the gist of who they are. I know them from their podcast Decisions, formerly known as Horrible Decisions. And since I know people are always looking for a new podcast to get into, I'm also going to tell y'all what Decisions is. According to The Black Effect, Decisions is the podcast where boundaries are pushed and conversations get candid. Mandii B and WeezyWTF dive deep into the world of non-traditional relationships and explore the often taboo topics surrounding dating, sex, and love. I really like their podcast. Like I said, I've been listening for a while. I think I really started listening around like during COVID. I was home a lot, always looking for new stuff to listen to. And I definitely enjoy their episodes. I think I got me, the braid is, I was about to say, I think I got me a little miracle not about to come out. I really enjoy their episodes when it's just them two. Like, first of all, I started watching during COVID. So if you watch Horrible Decisions or Decisions, you know during COVID, they was beefed out. It was tough. I didn't know if the podcast was going to make it. So I definitely enjoy watching it now because you can tell they definitely like are in a better place. Anyways, this video ain't about that though. This video is about No Holds Barred. So what is No Holds Barred? According to the front cover, this book is a provocative and playful exploration that aims to destigmatize sex while educating, inspiring, and promoting sexual and mental health. I ordered this book to just talk a little bit about my order process. First of all, I think this was a New York Times bestseller. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on that. But I think they did make the New York Times bestseller list. I ordered this book a while after it came out though. I did order it from Better World Books. So my order process has really nothing to do with them because I did order it from a third party. I ordered it on Christmas Eve of 2025. It shipped on 12/26/2025, and it delivered on the second day of 2026. And like I said, I ordered it from Better World Books. The price was $22.82, and this was for a new copy. In the front cover, it says they run for about $29, so I guess I got a little discount. I love Better World Books, y'all. I order all my books pretty much from there if possible. Shout out to them. Very good condition. I wish I had my story graph up so I could tell y'all when I read it, but it was pretty much the beginning parts of February. Like I think I started towards the front end, and it took me maybe 2 or 3 weeks to finish the book, reading about a chapter a day. So the details of the book is 302 pages, and that includes notes and acknowledgments. It has 19 chapters, and the chapters alternate between Mandii and Weezy. So I think the first chapter is them together. It's been a minute since I read it, so don't hold me on this. I think the first chapter is them two together, and then they go back and forth. Like they'll have a topic, like say the topic of the chapter is power. So Mandii will write a chapter about power, then Weezy, then so on and so forth, which I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed that format for the book because I was kind of wondering how a group book was going to work. I haven't read many of those. Okay, so let's talk about some of the standout parts of the book. I will say I enjoyed how digestible this book was. Especially like right now I'm reading a book that is like very like technical language, stuff like that. And Mandii and Weezy are smart girls. They could have gotten real technical with some of this stuff, but the book is very digestible. I would say if you're trying to get back into reading and you don't want to do something fiction, this will be a good book to get back started with because it's a pretty easy read. I also enjoyed hearing about like their individual journeys, especially when they were like, when they were this age, when I was this age, I did this, when I was this age, I did that. As somebody in their 20s, it feels good to hear about somebody else's experiences, maybe some of the mistakes they made, and kind of learn from them with them, but also realize like low-key, I remember when I was reading the book, I felt like I could be doing more. Like I could be going harder. Like they was going hard in their 20s. I'm 27 now. Like my 20s, most of them are gone. And so it really made me feel like I could be going harder. I could be doing more. Now, did I take that advice? No, I haven't started yet. But eventually, I'm like, I could definitely kick it up a notch. Moving to New York, they had sugar daddies and stuff. Not saying that you need to get a sugar daddy, but I'm just saying like they were taking risk. I think that was the point. They were taking risk, and taking a risk can be a good thing. So I really enjoyed reading that. I will say that I recommend that people in their mid to late 20s read this book, or not even mid, but maybe like 22 and up read this book, because I do feel like this book is not for the impressionable mind. Like I don't think I feel like sexual exploration and sexual liberation, they're for everyone, you know, all adults at least. But I do feel like the response I would have had to this book if I read it when I was 18 versus now when I read it when I was 26, like I definitely was able to have a more level-headed response to it. I feel like if I read this when I was 18, I definitely would have taken a lot of the advice a little bit more literally than, or a lot of, I would have taken in their experiences and maybe tried to do them as well, if that makes sense. Like I would have been more easily influenced by their experiences. That's what I mean. So if you're the type to get this for a young girl in your life, I definitely would get it for somebody that's like above the age of 23 or 24 when you're a little bit less impressionable. But yeah, like I said, it did cause me to reflect on how I'm living my life, how many risks I'm taking, because a lot of their risks have led them to where they are today, which is super successful women in business. So let's get on to some of my constructive criticisms of the book. I feel like the book in some ways did lack depth. Like I feel like it's hard to like write your life story when you're in like your mid 30s, and that's where they are, I think. And it's not even like their life story really, because I'm sure they left elements of their life out. It's kind of more about their dating and their life with dating, sex, love, all that type of stuff. But I do feel like in some ways when I read the book, it felt kind of like shallow, you know, like in some ways, like when they were talking about things that happened when they were like teenagers and early 20s, I feel like the reflection was better. But then they got into some stuff that happened like maybe more recently in their lives. And I'm like, wouldn't this have been nice if they had waited maybe like 3 or 4 more years to write the book? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it was. The book left me wanting more. Like, especially when it came to like the reflections of situations, I'm like, imagine how much more they could have gotten from a reflection standpoint if the book was written a little bit after some of these events took place. Like, I know at the end of the book, some of the stuff they're talking about happened in like, you know, like 2024, you know, like, and the book came out in like 2025. It's like, it's kind of hard to see stuff in hindsight at that point. And I feel like there was something lacking there. I don't know. I just remember reading it and sitting next to, I was in the room with my sister who also kind of watches their podcast here and there. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it was too, like, something about it feels rushed. Like, I feel like if they would have waited just a little bit longer, it could have been even more impactful. if that makes sense. It could have been a book that was a little bit more timeless, like something that people talk about from years and years and years and years and years. And I'm not saying that's not what's going to happen. Maybe people will talk about this book for years and years and years and years and years. But for me, it didn't have as much of an impact because I feel like it did lack a little bit of depth. One of the parts that I really liked in it was when Mandii talked about being a unicorn in Mexico. Like, even though that's probably not something I would do, her solo traveling and just finding an adventure like that sounded super fun. Like, and I remember on the show her kind of discussing that, or maybe she discussed it in depth, but I didn't remember. I feel like when you read something, maybe it just sticks more or something. So yeah, and that was another thing I really liked about the book, is that I would vaguely remember things being discussed on the podcast, and this would kind of provide more context and more detail to it. When Weezy would talk about some of her exes, for instance, Old Bay, like I wasn't watching the podcast from the beginning, so I didn't really know who that was, like, or where the name came from or whatever. So in this book, she goes into depth with that relationship. In this book, they both go into depth with their respective sexualities and stuff like that. So I also think if you're a fan of the podcast, you should read this book because it'll provide more context to those people that you are a fan of. So that's something I did gain from it. And then when I watched the podcast from after reading this book on, I feel like I watched it through a different lens, if that makes sense. Okay, so would I recommend? Like I said, I would recommend for definitely people in that like mid to late 20s range, like 23 to 30 something. Yeah, mid to late 20s to early 30s maybe. I don't know. I haven't been in my 30s, so I don't know what you need in your 30s. But I'm just saying, like, I've been in my 20s, and I think this is a good book for people in their mid to late 20s, especially those struggling with, like, honestly, being single. Like, I'm a single girl, so it's interesting for me to hear about how people's love lives have gone, because mine, has gone its way. So I'm interested to see how other women in my age bracket, or that were previously in my age bracket, navigate love and relationships and things like that. So I recommend for single girls in their mid to late 20s. Like I said, I do think you need to be out of that impressionable stage of life before you read this. I definitely would not give this to a girl that was 18 to 21 years old. You don't need to read it. You need to read something else. You need to read I don't even know, because you're too impressionable. Honestly, just, I don't know, just go to church or something. I don't even know about that, because you might. I don't know. And then also, if you're like a fan of their podcast, I would definitely recommend, like, if you listen to their podcast regularly and you have not read this book, you are missing out. And yeah, my final thoughts. The book was pretty decent. I think I rated it like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Like, I definitely didn't feel like it was a waste of time reading it. It wasn't life changing, but I did walk away with something. So I think that's kind of what you can expect when you read the book. It's not going to be something that changes your life. You're probably not going to find out a whole lot of new information, but I mean, you will walk away with something. It's worth the read. And it's worth supporting these two businesswomen. So, like I said, 6 or 7 out of 10. Not bad, but not anything revolutionary or life-changing. I think I hit it all. This is a real quick video for my first video back. Don't hate me. Well, y'all got the other video too, the Kenya Moore video. So I tried to go ahead and get that one out. But yeah, I am back in full effect. We are going to find our rhythm again. And I'm going to try to get as much content out between now and August, because August is obviously when I go back to school. I still plan to post in August and stuff like that, but just, it gets a little harder when I have another priority. And then I graduate next year, so then we won't have to worry about this no more. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if there's something that you would like to know that I didn't hit, something that will influence you or de-influence you from buying this book. I would love to address that for you. Let me know what you want to see. But like I always say, you don't have to let me know nothing. I have a whole list. Hold on, let me see if I have my notebook. See if I can flash out this list real quick. Because, girl, we ain't even made a dent, girl. We ain't even made a dent. You see, it's only so many slashes out in that list. Like, I have so many videos, so many things I want to try for y'all, so many celebrity brands, so many celebrity books. Follow me on Storygraph. I have lots of books coming in June. I'm so excited. I plan to read like 6 books in June, so I'm so excited. So follow me on Storygraph. Pick up the book if you'd like it. And yeah, I think that's all. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.